Welcome back to the bubble, ladies and gentlemen, and Cossacks 3. Today we are going to review the replay of a game that I just played a couple of days ago, where I played as Hungary and we got crushed. So spoiler alert if you haven't seen that one yet. But I really want to take a look at how my opponents built their bases and what they did so rightly and what we did. I already know what we did wrong a little bit, but I want to check on how the opponents built their bases because they did a great job. They were absolutely crushing us. So let's just review or look through our all the players for starters. Starting off with Red as Xetroshen. I'm gonna call him Red. Playing as Turkey, and if we go to his or her teammate, we have Kurt, easier name to pronounce. In blue, playing as Hungary, and we have the same faction. So I will be playing as Hungary in the bottom left corner, and my teammate, Kleber, plays in purple and as Turkey. So we have the same factions. So how did we get so unbalanced? Let's check it out. I'm gonna start looking at Turkey because I think they're really interesting. They had a different strategy than the one I'm used to when playing Turkey, and the strategy that is recommended when playing Turkey. Because what is recommended is to do the Turkish archers because their range is so crazy. But Red in this game actually went for a different strategy, but very, very experienced player. We can see that right away. Just building storehouse, mill, right up to the market. If we go down to me, I only just now is getting my market up and running, so a little bit slower. Very, very good build on Red here. If we go over to his teammate, Kurt, also playing as Hungary, now burning his storehouse. Again, you might wonder, why do you want to build or destroy the storehouse? Basically, it's because first you just want it built as fastly as possible, so you can get the market and start trading for your town halls and barracks and whatnot. But when you've built it, the cost of the storehouses stack, and you're gonna need quite a few of them on stone excavation points and wood cutting places and whatnot. So that's why you destroy it, because it's just a waste of having it there. So that's that, and he is going... Yeah, this is a pretty standard build so far, but if you look at the points, they are already pulling so far ahead, and the biggest points advantage right now is on Red, building two barracks, and he is actually going with the Janissaries instead of the Turkish archers. So they are going to cost iron and coal when they're shooting, but they are going to benefit from the firepower upgrades, which I think they should be getting in the minaret. Let's see when it's finished. Yes, they still benefit from the firepower upgrade and the rate of fire upgrades. So in that sense, they are they're a pretty strong unit. But look at the 8 seconds recruitment time, 3-second recruitment times, and like I said, the Turkish archers have insane range. So for longer games, it might be better to get the Turkish archers. They don't have any armor though, so they are pretty weak in that sense. Very susceptible to musket fire. If you go down to Kleber, who is, both of us are falling behind, so I'm not just going to put that on him, but he is making pikemen. For starters, he started with some light infantrymen, and also pikemen, but I think I told him during the game to actually go for Turkish archers instead, but maybe he should have gone with Janissaries. But the thing is, it all depends on what the opponent is going to go for, because if you are able to build up the population space for Turkey and Algeria, because they get less population from all of these buildings. He also only has one barrack. You need more barracks. But you already have 2. But the thing is that one thing that they do very well is that they are able to absolutely spam the living crap out of you. If they just mass up on light infantrymen from both the Diplo Center and the barracks, 1-second recruitment time. And the thing is, no matter how much a musket or a arrow does damage, you still need to shoot one of them at a light infantryman. So you can just absolutely swarm your enemies if you go for early aggression. But if we go to my opponent, playing as Hungary, seems to be doing a pretty standard job. Making the Haiduks, and also he is making a bunch of drummers. No officers, only drummers. Probably because drummers give very good field of vision, very good range on that. So that's why you can use drummers, and that's why you might see a lot of experienced players scout with them instead of scouting with musketeers. While I scout with musketeers. Because don't correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, they actually cost gold, but not that much. So they're not that expensive, actually. Since we want the academy up as fast as possible, it's not too bad to actually get the drummers. One thing, if we go down to my base, I was very slow at finding my gold mines, and also I was very slow to start recruitment from the third town hall. So there was a couple of mistakes there, some bad luck I might say, but the gold mines were super close to each other. So if I just walked down a little bit, I would have found both of them a lot quicker. Now at least I have built all 4 of the gold mines, and now I'm just working on upgrading them. We can see that I just spent gold doing that, trying to get the gold economy up and running. But I'm not interested in looking at me right now, because you can see that in the video I recorded for playing this game. Now we want to check on my opponents. Got the 2 stables and going with the hussars. In quick matches, because this was a quick match, we have capturing of buildings on. No capturing peasants, but we can capture buildings. So because of that, it's going to be very important to get a lot of fast cavalry up, so you can make sure that you harass your opponents as efficiently as possible. So because of that, it's very good for him to start training the hussars. Expensive in gold though, 30 gold. That is very expensive. And also 21-second building speed. Takes a lot longer than getting the dragoons out, but a bit faster than the reiters. So good build so far. If you look at the points, they are still like 20 ahead of us. So it's not something catastrophically bad. We still have 6 minutes left of peacetime. So a lot of things can happen, but he's doing very good on upgrading his gold mines. He is going to have 40 when those lads have walked in. And if we go down to me, for example, I'm at 35 as well. If we go to my opponent, he's down at 20. So he hasn't gotten the second upgrade, and he has a lot of gold. Gosh, dang it. He has actually upgraded one of the gold mines, but he hasn't put any peasants into it quite yet. He is on 2 barracks though, and he is doing quite a variety of troops, both Turkish archers and light infantry. If he's gonna try to upgrade all of them, then that's going to cost more. It's gonna cost a lot, because the light infantrymen, I don't think they're very useful for dealing damage. They are just useful for being annoying, basically. But let's take a look at the military for him compared to red, for example. 36, 120, and 100. Let's call it that. And you... Oh, you actually have fewer on those, and you don't make any... Oh, you also have 107 round shears, but he is making janissaries and light infantrymen, so he doesn't go at all for the archers. And like I said, the population space is always going to be a problem when you play as like Russia, for example, and Algeria and Turkey. Those 3 factions get less population space from their barracks and from their town halls, etc. So you're always going to be competing against your population space. He's also making the light sipais. Turkey can get an absolutely crazy elite cavalry unit called the heavy sipais. I don't think he's gonna make any of those, but they are a bit expensive. But man, are they tanks. Absolutely crazy strong. If you go over to Kurt, let's see, Kurt, there we go. He is on 3 stables, making hussars. Hasn't started upgrading them yet though, but he is finished with is working on his palisade. He's also building on 2 layers, which you should do. I still haven't learned how to do that, or how to implement it into my gameplay, so to speak. I'm still only a 1 palisade kind of guy, I guess. But he's also working on the diplomatic center, making the round shears. So Kurt and I are going for the same strategy, which I guess is kind of the meta strategy for a basic European faction, except for hussars instead of dragoons. And has he gotten... Hasn't gotten the harness yet, although he could afford it now, and that's going to be huge to get the cavalry advantage, so you can decrease the recruitment speed of the cavalry by 33%. And that's going to be huge for massing up big armies of cavalry. But if we look at red right now, geez, that's an army. Almost 400 light infantrymen. Let's see what you have. Almost 400 as well. So they are somewhat even on the amount of light infantrymen. But you're going with grenadiers instead of roundshires. Might not be the best strategy, because although grenadiers have they have muskets, so they deal 16 damage. They are super squishy, only 30 HP, which put them lower than the regular good old-fashioned Turkish peasant. Actually, I think it's lower than any peasant. If I go to mine as well, yeah, 50 is the basic. I think Ukraine has 70 HP, but those are the only ones who have higher HP. I actually also made some Siege Cossacks, just in case I was going to be able to do some harassment. And we are... Oh, I also ran out of food. Ran out of food for a second, so I had some brief moments of starvation. But fortunately, we got that under lock and key pretty quickly. We are doing decently on gold, I actually might say. 48. More than Kurt has currently. But gold doesn't matter if you can't use it to win battles. Up on 4 stables right now, making hussars out of all of them. He's also started upgrading. You don't need to start upgrading your troops too early. Just wait until there's a couple of minutes left of peacetime, because that gold will be much more useful to upgrade the gold mines than just generate more income, basically. So that's why you rarely spend money on military upgrades right away. But as soon as the peacetime went out, he sent out the hussars to do some harassments. His palisade is not even finished yet, so I could actually have done some harassment on him right here. If I could just walk up here, capture, and then we have an opening into the base. I didn't see that when playing this game. But the hussars are running out, and they're going to absolutely obliterate my poor musketeers, my poor haiduks. But he's moving over. Looks like, oh, just look at the army that red is having right now. Also a shit ton of artillery. 15. 3 artillery depots. He has almost maxed out on the upgrades for the cannon, which costs a lot of gold and iron to get. And I think, yeah, gold and iron to upgrade those things. But it's, if you're gonna recruit a bunch of artillery, then you very quickly make those money back, because a cannon is expensive. At the current rate, with these a bunch of these upgrades already purchased, 225 and 225 on gold and iron, which is of course pretty expensive. And also he's made them as fast as possible to recruit, which will bring the recruitment time to just a bit over 30 seconds. And he is moving right away. Early aggression on Purple's base. Already wiped out 2 mines. Purple hasn't been able to even finish his palisade yet. And could see that Blue also came down here, attacked the southern part of the base. So they were very, very, very synchronized here. Like, one took their attention down here, drew me out to try to kill some of his hussars. And in the meantime, Red's main army pouring into the base. And he also has gotten some 18th century dragoons from the Diplo Center. They are gonna have pretty fast fire rate, but also, of course, they are absolutely massive damage dealers. Expensive, though, but he doesn't have any problem with money. And now, of course, since Purple wasn't able to amass his army in time, because they were down here in the southern side, Red is just absolutely swarming into the base. And for some reason, now they're starting to shoot. Purple also has some artillery, actually. He has 8 howitzers, which are absolutely brutal in dealing damage. But Red just has too many troops right now. And I was way too slow at realizing that. Also, I guess I felt a bit vulnerable against Blue, because Blue only sent in his hussars. And I'm trying to send some units to help. And I didn't even realize that Red completely taken over... had completely taken over his base. I didn't realize that at all, because I thought for a brief moment that my ally was Red, because the entire base is Red. So I was like, okay, Red is doing fine. But no, Red is doing fine, but that's not good for me. That's not good for me at all. And I don't know what I'm trying to do here, because now purple is pretty much wiped out. And I do not have enough troops to really do anything. If you look at my army, let's see, we have 400, like 50, 200, and we compare that to Kurt. 400, 100, 300. So he has a much bigger army than I do. And he's also used his hussars in a much more efficient manner in harassing and just capturing, destroying stuff. And like that, I'm not doing too well at all. I guess I'm now just trying to go for... I'm going to go for the 18th century because I have those buildings up. But that's not really going to help us too much. Because now it's 2v1. And it's going to be very, very difficult to turn this ship around, I'll tell you that. But, I mean, Red did such a great job. And he is still just massing out light infantry, round shears. That's the only thing he's making. He's not even making archers. He's not even making janissaries anymore. He's just maxed out the light infantry and just going to absolutely swarm my defenses, just like he did with the Klebers. And he also has a massive artillery advantage. 21 cannons and 12 howitzers. Which is going to be absolutely brutal to face, of course. And now Kurt is sending out some of his hussars, trying to feel the temperature, I guess. But Red is now finished with purple and is gonna move towards my base instead. Purple tried to start rebuilding a little bit. He sent some peasants over to my base and started building a town hall. But I'm just keep making my hussars, keep making my Hajdukes. And now we're going up to the 18th century. Which means that I will probably be going for the Montgolfier very soon. Actually, I first of all went for the stone excavation efficiency, so we will be able to trade stone. Although I don't really feel like that should be a priority right now, because it feels like this game is not going to be much longer, to be honest. But now, I'm guessing that I will start trading for the Montgolfier, or I'll just wait a little while and won't trade for it, actually. So I do have actually a decent sized force, but the thing is I will just be swarmed by light infantry because, like I said, although they are not very strong, they still require a couple of volleys to take one down, which will mean that they will just absolutely swarm me. So maybe I should have gone with like 17th century pikemen instead, because they are heavily armored, so they would be able to deal with the light infantry a lot better than the Hajdukes will. I have also started building cannons. And soon I will be getting the Montgolfier. It's 570 and 5750. So now we're gonna get that, so I can see the whole map and just take a look at what I have in store for me. Because it doesn't look good, I tell you that. At least I maxed out my Hajduk, so I got that going for me. And now I got this vision. And I'm just thinking, oh, balls. He has so many hussars. And now Red is coming as well, so I'm just putting all of my eggs into defending this little basket here. So I'm sending my troops in, not too far, but just over here. Because it still does have ranged troops who will have a range advantage over my musketeers. But I do have cannons as well, so I'm gonna start aiming them towards this blob here. And I also have my Hajdukes on stand ground mode, but here we see the howitzer shots that just absolutely obliterated the center of my Hajdukes. But my cannons have started shooting as well, so hopefully they are going to deal some damage. We just need to try to aim them into the blobs. But I would not be... I mean, our opponents must have been coordinating pretty well. I don't think they were in Discord because it's random who you get as your teammates in quick matches. But we're just going to keep firing with our cannons. We are doing final resources, trading for coal right now so we don't run out of that. But now my troops are just being melted away, and blue is in my northern side of my base with a whole bunch of hussars. And also sending in his army now. So I don't have anything more to put against them right here. My army is dead. My peasants are quickly getting slaughtered. And purple doesn't really have much left either. I just sent all my peasants to try to fight back, but they are just getting absolutely cut. down. And I have called it GG, but I haven't surrendered quite yet. But, I mean, red did such an amazing job here. I think I would have been able to deal with it if I just fought against blue. I think I would have been able to trade quite fairly, although he has a lot of artillery as well. And now you can see that stuff is starting to die. It's because I have surrendered, and so has purple. But what lessons we can take from this one is that red just went for full out mass of his troops. If we look at all the troops he has, he doesn't have a lot of ranged. 71 Janissaries, and then he's maxing out on round shears and light infantrymen and artillery. My golly, this is a lot of artillery. So that was his strategy. Not going with any Turkish archers, not going with any heavy sipais or anything. Just massing out light sipais, massing out light infantry, massing out round shears, and then going balls to the wall on artillery. And that really worked out fine. So that's a strategy to try if you're playing as, I guess it would work with Algeria as well, because they also get light infantry. And they also get cavalry, who are not as quickly trained as the light sipais, but they still get it. So if you're starting with any of those civilizations, don't be discouraged feeling like, oh, it's over because I'm Algeria or because I'm Turkey, because evidently you can still kick massive booty as those civilizations. So this was interesting to go over. I followed my Hungarian adversaries build, so I did follow the meta, although I did some mistakes with not producing peasants quickly enough, and eventually it was just GG. Blue did such a great job harassing with his hussars. So I learned some things, and hopefully you did as well. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and I will see you in the next one.
The Weird Bubble.